In the realm of education, the journey to knowledge is often marked by integrity, responsibility, and a commitment to ethical conduct. However, there are moments when a handful of students stray from this path, engaging in actions that lead to serious consequences. This video, 10 Times Horrible Students Face Justice, delves into instances where students, through their actions, found themselves on the wrong side of the law and educational policies. Each story serves as a reminder that justice, accountability, and the pursuit of a better future are integral components of the educational experience. While these tales are undoubtedly cautionary, they also offer lessons in learning from one's mistakes, rebuilding trust, and striving for a brighter tomorrow. Number 10. Parkland school shooter prisoned. In November 2022, Nikolas Cruz, who murdered 17 students and staff with a semi-automatic rifle at a Florida high school, was formally sentenced to life in prison after listening to hours of anguished testimony from survivors and victims' relatives.
Count 33 for the attempted murder of Anthony Borges. The court imposes a life sentence with a mandatory life sentence under Florida's 1020 life statute.
A jury voted to spare Cruz, 24, the death penalty, instead choosing life in prison without possibility of parole for one of the deadliest mass shootings in U.S. history. Number 9. American students jailed. 2 American students have been sentenced to life in prison by a Rome court for the murder of Italian police officer Mario Ciarciello-Rega. After almost 13 hours of deliberation, a jury convicted Finnegan Lee Elder, 21, and Gabriel Natale Yorth, 20, of murdering Ciarciello-Rega, who had only just returned to duty after his honeymoon when he was stabbed to death, aged 35, on a street in central Rome in July 2019. Number 8. 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐞. On the surface, Yardley Love and 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐞 appear to be a good match. The couple attended the University of Virginia and played for the Cavaliers lacrosse teams. But under that veneer, trouble was brewing, and although the university says it knew nothing of his brushes with the law, a rap sheet was growing. The weeks before they graduated in 2010, with the relationship over Love's body was found in her apartment. After hearing accounts of Huegly's drinking issues and rage about the breakup, he was brought in for questioning. In 2012, Huegly was found guilty of Love's murder and sentenced 23 years in jail.
Former University of Virginia lacrosse player George Huegly has been sentenced to 26 years in prison for the murder of his ex-girlfriend Yardley Love. Jurors rejected prosecutors' call, though, for a sentence of life in prison.
There's nothing but loss everywhere. Our hearts go out to the Love family. They've suffered enormously. In 2022, Huegly faced a wrongful death lawsuit from Love's family. The jury ruled against Huegly, and he had to pay $15 million in damages. Number 7. Derek Chauvin trial. The Chauvin trial and George Floyd's death, 2021, was a defining incident that unfolded in 2021, marked by the tragic death of George Floyd while in police custody. The incident gained global attention through a viral video showing former police officer Derek Chauvin kneeling on Floyd's neck for nearly 9 minutes. The video's widespread circulation sparked widespread outrage and a renewed call for racial justice and police reform. Derek Chauvin faced legal proceedings, including a trial in Hennepin County, Minnesota, beginning in March 2021. The trial captivated the nation as it included emotional testimonies, expert analyses, and powerful arguments from both the prosecution and defense. On April 20th, 2021, a significant moment occurred as the jury found Derek Chauvin guilty on multiple charges, marking a milestone in the fight for accountability in cases of police brutality. Throughout the incident, students and young activists played an active role in advocating for justice, organizing protests, and participating in demonstrations on college campuses and in communities. Their voices contributed to the broader discussions on racial disparities, policing, and the urgent need for reform in the criminal justice system. The Chauvin trial and George Floyd's death, 2021, remains a pivotal moment in contemporary history, marked by the call for justice and a renewed commitment to addressing issues of systemic racism and police accountability. Number 6. Cornell student arrested. A Cornell student who allegedly made threats to his university's Jewish community is expected in federal court in Syracuse, New York, on Wednesday. In the aftermath of Hamas's attack on Israelis on 7 October and Israel's subsequent retaliation on Palestinians in Gaza, concerns of a rise in anti-Semitism and Islamophobia persist. especially on college campuses.
I was afraid for my community members' lives and for the well-being and mental health of all of my students and all of my friends and peers.
Patrick Dye, 21, a junior at Cornell, has been charged with threatening to kill or injure using interstate communications, according to federal prosecutors in New York's Northern District. If convicted, he faces up to 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Number 5. Deaf community traumatized by 2 murders. At Gallaudet University in Washington, D.C. In 2000, the university experienced 2 murders that deeply affected the deaf community and drew significant attention. The victims were Eric Plunkett and Benjamin Varner, both students at Gallaudet. These murders had a profound impact on the university and the broader deaf community.
I got the message that it was an emergency and involved a student had died. I thought maybe it was a suicide or some other kind of tragic accident. But when I got to campus, I was informed that he had been murdered. I was completely aghast.
As they highlighted issues of safety and security, particularly for deaf and hard of hearing individuals. The incident triggered discussions about campus safety and support for students with disabilities, emphasizing the importance of addressing their unique needs and concerns. Number 4. Alec McKinney. A 17-year-old transgender student who told investigators he launched a deadly school shooting in retaliation for being bullied over his gender identity has been sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole. Alec McKinney was sentenced following impassioned, emotional statements from nearly 24 teachers, students, and family members. McKinney and fellow student Devin Erickson, 19, were accused of opening fire at STEM school Highlands Ranch in a suburb south of Denver on May 7, 2019. Number 3. Willetton SHS student jailed. In a concerning incident, a student from Willetton Senior High School was sentenced to jail after bringing a firearm to the school premises.
A 16-year-old boy is tonight behind bars after admitting to staging a gun scare at one of Perth's top public schools. The teenager was armed with an illegal gel blaster and knife, leaving students fearing for their safety.
The incident raised alarm and fear among students, parents, and school authorities. The presence of a weapon in a school environment posed a serious threat to the safety and well-being of the school community. As a result, legal actions were taken, leading to the student's incarceration as part of the justice system's response to ensure the security and safety of the school and its students. The incident serves as a reminder of the critical importance of maintaining a secure and gun-free environment in educational institutions. Number 2. Luke O'Connor. A music student who stabbed a university undergraduate 8 times with a 13-inch knife over a joke about his skateboard has been jailed for 15 years. Luke O'Connor, 19, described as a gentle giant by his family, was killed during the incident on Wilmslow Road in Fallowfield, South Manchester, on October 26 last year. Shiloh Pottinger, 20, repeatedly knifed the Manchester Metropolitan University student up to the hilt with the 13-inch Mafia stiletto knife after reacting violently and unpredictably to a jokey remark made about his skateboard by Luke's friend. Number 1. Willard Mille. One of the 2 Iowa teens that bashed their high school Spanish teacher to death with a baseball bat over a bad grade was sentenced Thursday to life in prison. Miller stared ahead with little emotion as District Court Judge Sean Showers handed down the hefty sentence, noting that it was fitting despite Miller's young age because he had cut 𝐦𝐸𝐻𝐵𝐿 Graber's precious life short, devastating her family and the community. Before being sentenced, Miller accepted responsibility for killing Graber along with friend Jeremy Goodale while the teacher took her regular afternoon walk in Fairfield Park. The central message is clear. Justice, whether through discipline or personal growth, plays a pivotal role in our education. We encourage you to share these stories, not to sensationalize, but to inspire meaningful discussions about values, personal growth, and second chances. By sharing and subscribing, you become part of a community that believes in the power of accountability and supports those on their journey towards a better future. Together, we can make a positive impact.